Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we are going to talk about the quack.
The quack.
The quack is what everything is going to be based off of, and it's an important note to learn before we advance.
Yep.
So the biggest thing with the quack is we like to teach with reference words, and reference words help everyone to kind of just get that reference point, to get that starting point, that basic spot to start every time.
How to bring the air to it.
Right, exactly. So I'm going to let Paul start off with this and kind of tell about the different reference words, and then I'll kind of chime in as you go.
The one I like to use is hit, and there's other words that people use, the quit, hit, wit. It's just that hard T.
Right.
And that's the reference words that basically everybody uses.
Yep. And with that, there's kind of 2 points to that reference word. So with wit or hut or quit, you can hear you're still bringing that air up from the diaphragm. So those letters help that bring it up. Mm-hmm. And then the T is what ends the note, right? That is what finishes it. So by saying the T, it makes your tongue stop that reed.
Stop it, yep.
So that's why we use reference words. Now, once you learn this note, once you learn the quack, you're not going to, every time that blow the call, you're not going to be thinking wit, 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 or quit, 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 quit. It'll become second nature, and it's more of just, presenting that air, but you can change the way a quack sounds by presenting that air differently. So why don't you do, Paul, why don't you say a few quits, like your normal quacks, and then after that, let's blow a couple different ones, okay. And it'll still be a quack, but kind of with the different reference words.
So here's a quit, hit, and that's about it.
Right. So you can. So by giving that different word, is you're kind of bringing it up different, and it's got a little bit different pitch to it.
Yep.
So with that, now let's turn the call around. So you can actually hear how that note sounds being presented to it with no reed. And this is a great training tool for you. Go in front of a mirror, or even better, a video camera, and video yourself. Yep. Make sure that when you're presenting that new reference word that we taught you to the call, that you're still not puffing your cheeks, referencing back the diaphragm air that we talked about in the past videos. And make sure that you're, first off, if you're doing it in the back of the call, there's going to be no sound. But then when you flip it over, make sure that you're actually sounding, like a duck.
Yep.
And, Paul said to me before we started the video is, do it a few days, and then do it 2 days ago, and then now do it 2 days later, right? And then you can kind of hear your progression.
Track your progression.
Right, exactly. And then not only that, but you can compare those videos to the way Paul sounds, or other people on YouTube or, Facebook or things like that, to see if you really sound like a duck.
Yeah.
And, without doing those things, it's hard to, you can do it by your ear, but, going back to, I remember back in the day when my dad first started getting into it, and having the old school tape recorder with the little miniature cassette and taping yourself, because just hearing yourself, it will help you progress with that. So why don't you do it a few times in the back of the call, so you can hear that that's the air coming up from the diaphragm, and then when that hits, it's the reed slapping and finishing that note. So we're going to stop the video here, because that is the basics of the quack, and make sure that we always, one video at a time, don't move on to the next video until you master this. Yeah. It's the most important note in duck calling, in my opinion.
Everything else is derived from that.
Right, right. So next we're going to go to, the next video will be cadence, and cadence, you can't do cadence without knowing how to quack. Okay, so like all of our videos, please leave a comment, questions, concerns. If you want to see any additional, tips or tricks, or something that you think of that we might not have covered, please let us know, and we'll see you next week.